Is Julian Edelman going to make the Hall of Fame? Sure, if you look back to my last point that I just made about Jacob deGrom and the New York Mets and Kershaw and Mike Trout, as Kenny Smith once said, you make your name in the regular season, you make your fame in the postseason, right? But the thing with Julian Edelman is he's made his fame in the postseason. He's one of the greatest postseason wide receivers of all time. I mean, I believe he's second in catches or yards behind the great Jerry Rice. And anytime you're in the same sense as Jerry Rice, you are doing something right. You're doing something right. But in terms of a regular season wide receiver, Julian Edelman has been your average Joe Schmo wide receiver for a long, extended period of time, playing with the greatest quarterback of all time and the greatest coach of all time in Bill Belichick. In terms of catches, I believe he's 250th of all time. And then in terms of yards, he's, I think, 150th of all time, if I'm not mistaken. Julian Edelman has never been a top 5 wide receiver in his career, borderline top 10. And if that's the case, that's not Hall of Fame bound. That's not Hall of Fame bound. A Hall of Fame wide receiver is going to be among the elites of the game, not necessarily your longevity. We know a lot of receivers, running backs as well. They had very short careers, but their peaks were so high, which got them in the Hall of Fame. Even, for example, Kurt Warner, even though this is a quarterback, he didn't have a very long career. He didn't have that great of a career. But his 4-year window where he was elite, that's what got him in the Hall of Fame. That's why Kurt Warner's a Hall of Famer, because of those windows, that tight window where he had that peak. Julian Edelman, I don't know if he ever really had that peak where he was that dude. He could do a little bit of everything. I'm not going to lie. I got to give him this. Sure, he's going to be in the Patriots Ring of Honor 110%. That's not debatable. But making it the Hall of Fame, I don't think he's proven that he is that elite. I mean, even Bill Belichick said how he could catch, he could run, he could block, he could throw, he could tackle. He could do a little bit of everything. And he does it with a little spice. He does it with competitive nature. And he does it with heart. He plays his heart out every single game, no matter whether he's healthy, whether he's hurt, whether he's a little banged up. You know what you got from Julian Edelman. He gave you all he got every single game. But at the end of the day, I really just don't know if he's a Hall of Famer. I can't call him an Hall of Famer right now. As great as his postseason resume is, sure, I understand he is a Super Bowl MVP, which is a huge mark on his legacy in terms of getting in. But can you really tell me that he's been an elite wide receiver? I don't know if I could say that. I don't believe he's been an elite wide receiver for an extended period of time or even a short peak. What year could you really say that he was a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL? What year could you say he's a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL? I really can't think of one, let alone top 5. It's getting to a point where in all sports, it's getting too easy for guys to make the Hall of Fame. If you're average for a long period of time, you're guaranteed to get in the Hall of Fame in many sports. For example, Eli Manning will get in the Hall of Fame because he's been an average quarterback for a long period of time. And the Giants won 2 Super Bowls. Not Eli Manning, the Giants, mainly because their defense and Brady wet the bed. Brady was a disaster in both those Super Bowls. But Eli Manning got all the credit, and he had 2 Super Bowl runs, which is why he's going to get in the Hall of Fame, because from 2014 to 2018, he was an average quarterback for that long period of time. Eli Manning was never a top 5 quarterback or even sniffed it. Sure, you could say he was a top 10 quarterback some years in the peak of his powers in his prime, but in terms of actually being a top 5 quarterback, hell no. But he's going to get in. Do I think Julian Edelman will eventually get in? Probably. I think he can, given his postseason resume, which is kind of why Eli Manning will get in as well, because he had 2 Super Bowl runs, even though the Giants never won a playoff game outside of those 2 Super Bowl runs with Eli Manning under center, which does speak volume. But I know a lot of Giants fans want to ignore that as well. But at the end of the day, Julian Edelman, I can't call him a Hall of Famer. I can't. I think he's borderline. I think it's close. I think it's very debatable. But with his regular season accolades, it's not elite and it's not that impressive. He's been an average to good wide receiver for a long period of time, playing with the greatest coach and greatest quarterback of all time. And he's been very reliable. I got to give him that. Which your best ability is your availability. I get it. But at the end of the day, that's not Hall of Fame bound. Hall of Fame is an elite class. I don't think Julian Edelman's that guy. At his size, with his speed, I just don't think he's that guy. I simply can't call him that.